Hey, what's up guys, Ron here from Jimmy Neutron Best Moments. Today I've got a special video that's been in the making for about a month now. Today we're going to be going over my top 10 Jimmy Neutron main characters from worst to best. Later I'll consider covering less frequent or important characters in the show. I have a guest with me that will help me out in my first top 10. He will remain anonymous. With that out of the way, let's get into this. I'm going to start out here with Miss Val. She adds nothing to the overall story or themes of the show, which in my opinion was wasted space that a more impactful character could have gone into. Not to mention, I also absolutely hate her voice, as do most people in the fan base. She gets my number 10 spot. She adds nothing of value to the show, and honestly would be better without her. And she rarely has any memorable moments throughout the entire series. What waste of space.
Next up on Ron's list, he has to say that Cindy goes next. While not exactly the antagonist of the Jimmy Neutron canon, she tends to play a more antagonistic role in the series, her only point being to stop Jimmy's plans or belittle him and the crew when they're on a mission. While not his least favorite character, he definitely does not like what she does and how she treats the characters of the show. He can respect her for doing her job, which is to counter Jimmy.
Despite being the main character of the show, I'm placing Jimmy at the number 6 spot. This is probably my most controversial statement yet, but Jimmy as a character is pretty horrible and tends to treat his other companions with extreme disregard and disrespect. He clearly shows signs of a superiority complex, and in some cases flat out abuses his friends and even his own family. These instances are quite disturbing, and it really shows how truly evil of a person Jimmy can be. Despite this, most of the characters in the show still manage to show some form of respect for him, even though he rarely has their best interests in mind. This is why I placed him at number 6. He is integral to the canon of the show, and he has good moments, but his actions toward others heavily outweighed them. Unfortunately, I can't go into too many details as to why Libby is one of my lesser favorite characters in the show, but hopefully my video which explains should be out soon. Libby plays an extremely important role in the Jimmy Neutron universe that I can't exactly explain in this video alone. If this video does well enough, I might consider sharing my theory with the broader Jimmy Neutron fan base.
Nick is kind of a controversial character in the Jimmy Neutron community. A lot of people love him, a lot of people hate him, but for Ron, he's kind of neutral in the situation. While he doesn't necessarily dislike Nick, he's not exactly a favorite of Ron's either, though he says Nick's overall personality is definitely a welcome addition to the show.
Carl is one of the more positive characters in this series. I admire his innocence and the fact that he is very open about realizing his mortality and humanity in the awful situations he is put in by others. He suffered greatly and hasn't changed a bit in his struggles, and that's my only gripe with him. He had next to zero character development throughout the series, but I understand his character is great and he's an amazing comedic relief. He just needs a little bit more development.
Goddard is a character who always brings a sense of relief and safety when Jimmy is in trouble. He's essentially Jimmy's guardian angel. While he is barely really even a character, he does have a very distinct personality and role in the show. Without him, Jimmy would have experienced a much darker fate than he does in the show he got. Even though there is no development to his character, it makes sense, as he is a machine built by Jimmy.
I'm a bit biased on this one, but Ultralord deserves my spot as number 3. If you haven't watched my tribute video, I heavily suggest you do so after this video. It's one of my best works, honestly. Growing up, I've always appreciated superheroes and collected figurines and merchandise. Ultralord reminds me of those days when I was a child. His design is also amazingly done and perfectly displays the retro aspects of that era. Number 2 goes to Sheen. Adding on to my last pick, Sheen reminds me a lot of myself when I was that age. Superheroes were a big deal to me, and I always had the adventurous personality of Sheen. Sheen has had a lot of development over the series, and has even shown the ability to learn complex things such as Kung Fu. Not to mention, in the episode called Sheen's Brain, he is revealed to have an almost godlike intellect which he nearly uses to gain universal domination and become the supreme leader of the universe. He only gave up his power because he cared for others, further developing his character. This is one example of why I love Sheen. My number 1 favorite character in the entire Jimmy Neutron universe is Hubert Beaumont Neutron. I could easily make an entire video explaining why he's the most important character in the entire series, but I'll save that for another video. Hugh is the most dynamic, entertaining, and virtuous character in the entire series. In many episodes, he shows his genuine compassion towards others in less fortunate situations, and himself manages to survive situations that could otherwise devastate other characters through his sheer will alone. For example, in the episode Return of the Nanobots, he is left completely isolated and even expresses a loss of will to live. His battle through depression felt like a real one. He is an extremely relatable and likable character based on this episode alone. He is universally loved by most fans of the series, and rightfully so. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end of the video. Do you agree or disagree with my list? Leave a comment on who you think should have made it. Make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe, as it would help me really grow my channel. I'm Ron from Jimmy Neutron Best Moments. Got a blast. See you in the next video.